What is going on, everyone? Leon checking in, and we're at it again with another video. Now in today's video we'll be talking about the screen protector warning, the Z Fold 3 flip cover with pen, we've got the Spigen Slim Armor Pro case, and then we've got the Perilogics smartphone holster here. Now this video is featured on the Samsung playlist, so you can find information related to this topic quickly and easily. Now in previous videos we unboxed the Z Fold 3 and performed the initial startup. Now today's video was filmed on the Google Pixel 5 and edited on the Google Pixelbook Go using the PowerDirector app from the Google Playstore. This allows us to put all the devices we reviewed through real world usage so you can see real world results. As always, we only feature products or services I buy, use, or am interested in. Now you can find all these items at the Amazon storefront link in the description below. Don't have time to watch the whole video? We're now a podcast you can find on multiple platforms by searching for Pixels Cracked. And if you are listening to this on a podcast, you can find the more detailed video and YouTube channel by searching for Pixels Cracked as well. All things said, let's go ahead and get into it. So first we have the screen protector warning, and before we talk about this, I'm going to tap the power button here so you can see the display, and it just looks beautiful. Now I did purchase a screen protector kit from Whitestone, which comes in at about $12. It includes a main display protector, a cover protector, and rear protector. Now this seems like a reasonable price, and if you're interested in this product, you can find it at the Amazon storefront link in the description below. Now I do want to say this looks like a good kit, but the problem is it conflicts with Samsung's warning in regards to the main display and applying adhesives or stickers. So if you're here watching this video, you probably know that the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3 is a pretty expensive phone, and it's also fairly delicate because of the folding display. And the problem with these screen protector kits is they include a screen protector for the main display, but Samsung states that adhesives like screen protectors and stickers can damage the main display. That being said, I decided I'm not going to apply a screen protector to my main display. Now I wanted to state this point because this is a very expensive device and it would be unfortunate to have someone's display damaged because of this. However, a kit like this may still be worth it for the protection it provides for the cover display and the rear of the device. Now I did skip the rear device application because I'm placing my Z Fold 3 in a case. Most likely it's going to be the Spigen Slim Armor Pro unit. However, I did apply the cover display protector and it went fairly well. Again, the reason I'm mentioning this is you can apply a display protector to the main display, but you're doing so at your own risk. So just be careful. This again is a very expensive device and you don't really want to damage it. Next we have the cases and their prices. The Z Fold 3 flip cover with pen and Spigen Slim Armor Pro both come in at $79. Now these are high prices for cases, but there are a few things to consider. First, the Z Fold 3 flip cover includes the case, of course, but also the pen, a tool to remove the tips, and then 3 extra tips. Now the pen itself and its extra parts are a $49 value on their own. This means the case itself has a value of about $30. Now installing the case on the Z Fold 3 is about as easy as it gets. Simply line the phone up and then just press it into place. It clicks. So I'm going to be honest, even at $30 this case is overpriced. First we have the flip cover, and I thought that that might be magnetic and it might actually stick to the display, but that actually doesn't happen. It just kind of just sits on top. Now the other problem here is we do have all-around protection at the bottom, but as for the top portion here, you can see it's exposed, so this is going to get scratched up really easy. I would have preferred to see some form of protection along that side of the device as well. But maybe there's hope here because again this case came with the pen, and of course you want to store it in the case. So let's try that out. That's going to fit in there nice and snug, actually nice and smooth, and then it kind of sits in there a little recessed so it doesn't feel like it's going to fall out. There's a little lip here on the end. Now when I make these videos, I like to verify that I'm giving out accurate information. So we're going to perform a little test here. We're going to open the device just to verify that that flip cover is not magnetized and that it's not sticking to the cover display. And also we get to see how this whole unit functions as essentially one piece. So I'm going to open it up And I'm going to do so in such a way that I'm not going to hold the flip cover to that cover display, and we're just going to see what happens. And you can see it drops off there, so this isn't magnetized. And the other thing I also don't like is you can see that the device ends here and the flip cover is way over here. All things being said, I'm going to skip this case mainly because of the lack of all-around protection. Next we have the Spigen Slim Armor Pro case, which comes as a two-piece kit and has protective film pre-installed. You also get extra protective film on a sheet and then installation instructions. Now, one of the features I love about this case that is also a must-have is hinge protection. That's what we got here. But this hinge is also nice because it's spring-loaded. Now I'm going to start with this side of the case and remove the protective film, and I'm not sure if this is an adhesive or if it's just protective. So we are going to find out here. I'm removing all the pieces. This one's a little harder to get to. This is where nails come in handy. So according to the instructions, we should just be able to take the phone and basically push it into here, just like that. And then we should be able to push it down. And you might have to actually pull on the edge there a little bit. And I'm gonna just try to push down in there. So that's on there nice and secure. It's actually a pretty snug fit. Now I don't know if you could tell from this angle, but this whole piece actually needs to get pushed that way. So I'm going to try this on camera. There we go, that actually snapped in place. Just something to look out for. Just make sure that this is flush, that the module for the camera is actually in the center of this portion of the case. Now here we are with the other side of the case, and I did remove the protective film already. Now I did check here, and what is there, it's not sticky, so it's more of a cushion for the phone itself, it looks like. Now before we continue on, I wanted to show off the hinge cover, which has a faux carbon accent to it, and it just makes the case look a bit more tactical. Now according to the instructions, it appears that the best way to install this other side is going to be similar to the first side that we installed. So we're going to grab it here and we're just going to kind of push it in. There we go. And this actually slid in really easy. Now I think if we look at this, it's sticking out a little bit, so I think we have to do the same thing. I'm going to push down on the flat back there and just make sure that it's actually pushed into place. I think it is. And I will say this is a little bit more scary because we're kind of pushing on this device pretty good. And we know how sensitive this whole device is. So it's a little nerve-wracking. So having this case installed, I could say with confidence, this is what you're going to want to protect your Z Fold 3. It's going to provide all-around protection, and it has a really nice tactical look to it. But let's actually try it out and see how it works function-wise. So first we have hinge operation, and I'm going to actually try to open this. And I could say that actually opened a lot easier with this case installed. This was actually harder to do without a case. But we're going to continue on. You can see there is a little gap there. Not a problem though, we still have the protection. And then I'm going to flip open. Now this is the only con to this case. You can see we kind of rock here. But I'm okay with that because we have that protection. I'd rather have this protected and have a little rocking. But this might not be a bad thing because this could also work somewhat as a kickstand possibly. That could be a second use for it. Now I also wanted to get a look at the rear of the device to just make sure that this hinge protector is actually covering up the hinge completely. And it looks like we're good to go there. Now this is going to be a little more tricky to demonstrate, but I want to try to see if I can fold it from this angle, just so you can see how that hinge is going to move there. And I'm going to actually have to try to go this way a little bit. And there we go, we've got the operation there. That looks really good. You can also see that we have good access to the volume rocker and that capacitive fingerprint button there. You can see that we have clear access to that USB-C port, and there's a big enough gap for the speaker there and also the mic. And at the top of the device, you can expect the same results. Now, one of the things I noticed once this case was installed is how much easier it is to open the Z Fold 3 and also close it. And if you've been watching the videos up until now, you'll notice it looked like I was struggling to open and close this device. And I didn't want to really say it, but I actually was. Now, the nice thing about this case is that it gives you a contact patch that's better. It's also not slippery. You got a good place to grip on to unfold and fold this easier. And that's a big game changer. You might have noticed that in the prior videos, I was actually touching and holding onto the screen and folding it this way. Probably not the best idea considering how sensitive this display is. But now this works so much better, it's so much easier, and you don't have to think so much about what you're doing when you're unfolding or folding it. Now, of course, the issue with this case is that it doesn't have a place to store the pen. However, I did reach out to Spigen and they have said that they are developing a case to hold a pen. Now, my thoughts are if they can keep this similar all-around protection but just add the pen storage, they could have a serious contender here. The last thing I want to talk about is the Perilogics smartphone holster. Now, I've got experience using 2 other holsters, and I could say that these holsters, they're made of good quality. They include a belt loop and a belt clip, and it's actually perfectly sized for the Z Fold 3, as I'm about to show you in a moment. So here we have the holster, and I'm going to pull down on the flap so you can see what's going on. And we're going to take the Z Fold 3, and we're going to slide it in there. You're going to see that this fits perfectly. It's like this holster was designed for this phone. It fits in there nice and snug. It just works really well. And then on the other side, if we flip around, we've got this little gap here that actually allows us to push the phone up and out, so we're not tugging on it. And then once we get it out far enough, we can just pull it out the rest of the way. Now, if you take a look here, we also have this slot. We could place cards in there. I wouldn't do that just because it's not really a tight pocket, and if it were meant for cards, we should have had some extra stitching here, but you can put dollar bills in there. Now, a nice feature of this holster is this flap is actually magnetized, so it's going to close securely and it's also going to snap into place. Now, needless to say, there is the same problem here, and just like with the Spigen case, this holster doesn't have a place for the nice pen that we get with the Z Fold 3. So I'm still going to be looking into solutions, but for now it looks like we're going to have to wait for that case drop from Spigen, which includes the pen slot. So that is it for today's video. If you enjoyed it and found it useful, please leave a like. If you're watching this on YouTube and have any questions or comments, as always, drop those down below and I'll do my best to answer them. Now, there are 3 ways you can support the channel and podcast. The first way is to click on the Amazon storefront link in the description below. There you'll find items that I have bought or would like to buy, and anything you buy from the storefront does support the content. The next way you can support us is just by sharing this content with someone who might enjoy it or find it useful. And the last way you can show your support is just by clicking the subscribe or follow button. Now, liking and subscribing are important. Those are your ways to vote on whether you like the video or the podcast. Liking and subscribing are also important for new viewers and listeners. If new viewers and listeners see likes and subscribers, they're going to think that the content is helpful, worth watching, and listening to. So that is pretty much it. And until next time, Leon checking out.